Welcome back to my channel, everyone. In today's video, I wanted to share about this thought that I had about talking about emotions. Interesting one that I wanted to talk about because the other day I was thinking about this topic on the red pill culture. And it got me thinking that for guys, I kind of related to that in the earlier phases of my life where to show a certain sense of being masculine, you have to kind of portray that toughness, not talking about emotions, allowing yourself to showcase that you're strong. And even in certain situations, such as a breakup, for instance, what was my first initial reaction after like a heartbreak or breakup or a tough situation you had to go through? For me, it was to go to the gym. Not talk about my emotions, not go through what I'm feeling, but go to the gym and work out, push it all out, get out all that steam. I'm not sure if any of you resonate with that, but I think that was what I felt towards too as a coping mechanism. And this was before I knew about this kind of term, if you will, the red pill culture. And then when I heard about this, I was like, wow, that was me. Thinking back about it made me realize the importance of how it's important to be open-minded as well, because if I heard about this back then, it would be kind of like a self-fulfilling prophecy to myself, whereby after that intense situation of, like, say, a heartbreak, then I have these thoughts of like how women is this way and that way, and I should change the way I think now and how I approach relationships, because internally I want to protect myself, my feelings, and not open myself to vulnerability anymore, because I don't want to feel that way anymore. And the realization right now is that when I think about it, why I consider it a self-fulfilling prophecy is also because that when I change the way that I approach relationships, it's like I'm looking for and attracting the people or the potential partners that I want to be with and what I've set out in my mind. So an example is after that breakup, going to the gym, releasing the steam, and thinking about how women can be so mean sometimes. But that was only because of that relationship. But because of that relationship, it made me think that I should change the way I approach and look for transactional relationships, whereby I have to pay for the meals. I need to make sure I make the money. I need to make sure I show that I'm strong enough and have a very surface level connection to the potential future relationships that I have. And because I'm subconsciously reprogramming myself before to make that change to attract these kind of potential partners, then that reaffirmed the thinking I had and that approach that I had. And I think that's the one of the problems there, because then people in the same group and same mentality, or all the guys in the same mentality, cluster together and start talking about it and start reaffirming each other as well. And then it starts to grow, this entire culture starts to grow. And why this was important for me to realize now is that because of that, it made me overlook the importance of vulnerability. And I thought about it where if I was less vulnerable, does it make me less truthful to the way I approach things? Because then I'm allowing myself to hide away and not talk about certain things, or try and angle my perspective internally to avoid things that I want to talk about and share things from a different point of view that I originally thought of before all those situations like heartbreak and stuff like that. But now, by being open about my emotions and vulnerability, there's so much opportunities for growth inward for me because repressed feelings start to come up and then self-realization start to come up, the insights start to come up and gave me a new profound insight and perspective to life. And slowly, as I started to reprogram myself or break that pattern or that mindset of the red pill culture, I started to connect with individuals who are open about being vulnerable and talking about feelings and finding, for example, my fiance, who is very supportive, very caring about what I do, and I'm really appreciative of her and where our relation has developed to. So then it proved my earlier self wrong, where it's not about showing how strong you are, how masculine you are. I think the term about masculinity is deeper than just being strong and not showing weakness, but actually to have that balance as a guy to not only protect but also be brave enough to explore the emotional side because everything is about balance, right? So even talking about this is kind of therapeutic for me because having done all the different wellness practices that I've done up till this date for a couple of years, it took a certain length of time and consistent practice for me to open up about talking about these topics, talking about what I think, talking about my reflections, doing my journals, and I feel so much lighter as I open up and talk about these reflections that I have. And there was reference that I took from a podcast the other day from this doctor, Dr. K. And he said that the more you are able to share about the negative emotions, it's allowing you to release those compiled up energies that you have been keeping in secrecy for a long time and not being able to share them. So by actually sharing about it, it actually helps you to release those energy blocks. And I actually feel that that's helping me. And another thing that he brought up was that you have to go through the poison first to be able to reach the gold at the end. So I hope this insight has came in useful for you. And if you have anything that you'd like to share or talk about, feel free to comment or send me a DM if it's too personal. Or if you want to keep it to yourself, that's fine. But just have a think about it, journal it down, have a little bit of a reflection. And yeah, I appreciate you for tuning in today. If you did like the content, feel free to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.